So I'd like to ask our panel here, when you're throwing an event, or when you have in the past, or ones that are coming up, what goes on in your head, or what experiences have you had in relation to money and return and the amount of investment and what you got out of it? And for those who provide services for the event organizers, go ahead and talk about, the financial implications of what you have to offer. Who would like to start? Great, Nancy?
So my shameless plug is if you want to get your event listed on a whole bunch of places, it's probably cheaper and easier for you to pay me $20 than do it yourself. Beyond that, though, I have a number of customers who've told me that their organization has gotten a lot more exposure because of all their listings on the web. So there's a nonprofit that is quite small, but they look a lot bigger than they do because their listings are everywhere, and art galleries. So sometimes if people don't actually go to your events, at least they've heard of your business by the listings. And maybe it's too far for them to go to, they don't want to go to all of them, or they don't know you at all, and so maybe they wouldn't invest time to go to your first event. By the time they've seen you hold 3 or 4, and this is what you do, you're already making a name for yourself without their even coming to your event.
I'd like to get a quick show of hands. How many of you are thinking of hosting an event as a profit center, something that you want to make money from? Okay, good luck. It's really, really hard because events are expensive as hell. And if you think that you're going to go in, especially your first time, chances are you're probably going to break even or maybe make $5,000 or $10,000. There's a very strong chance that you'll walk away losing a lot of money. An event like this, I'm guessing, just today, there's no coffee, there's not that much stuff. It probably cost about $50,000 to produce. We run similar events that are about half the size, and the cost differential isn't that much lower. So they're more expensive than you think, and the only way to get around that is hitting up sponsors like crazy and promoting the hell out of your ticket sales. And unless you're working on the event full time, both of those things are really hard to do.
I'm going to take it from this approach. A lot of you said you're in this for the long term, right? So that means building a community around what you're doing. So there's nothing wrong with starting small, okay? When I started my group over 3 years ago, it was a free event. And what drew people in the door, and we'll do like tips and tricks later, but pizza and beer goes a long way, by the way. It was a free event, and I realized it was getting to the point where I could no longer maintain the venue I was using because more and more people wanted to come. And that posed an interesting problem, is that we had a small group that got bigger, and as we grew, we needed a bigger venue, thus needed to pay for the venue. So long story short, it was a process in that it went from a free thing after building momentum for a few months to a paid thing where I compensated the people that were with me from the beginning with what I call the old school discount. Like, you guys were here from the start. You guys are going to get in at a discount for the rest of your lives. And I drew a line in the sand, and from that point on, I started charging tickets. So you have to grow gradually. Don't come in here and think that you're going to own the Hilton one day and run a huge event like that. That's just my advice. Start small and watch it ramp up little by little.
Okay, I'm going to say a couple things that might rock people's minds. Been doing this, like I said, for about 10 years. Couple things. Location makes a difference as to how many people may show up at the event. Also the date. If you try to do something on a Friday or Saturday, you're competing with a lot of other parties and a lot of other stuff. I host only business networking mixers, and I usually do them on Wednesday or Thursday nights from 6 to 9. Another suggestion. You blow it when you walk in the door and say, how much? I walk into places and say, look, this is what I've got to offer. I have an email list well over 12,000. A quality crowd. You're not dealing with only one company. You're dealing with, could be 100 people, could be 600 plus potential clients for you. How busy are you here on a Wednesday or Thursday night? Oh, not that busy. Well, how about this? I pack the house here for you. You don't pay me a cent. I don't pay you a dime. And on top of that, you get the bar. By the way, provide food for my crowd. Ask me if some places will allow me to bring in outside caterers. By the way, I never pay for caterers. I never pay for entertainment. We get top-notch entertainment at our events. People are there to network, you know. And by the way, I rarely pay for locations. Now, I'm not talking small little restaurants. I've hosted many events at the San Jose, mostly in Silicon Valley. I'm going to drop some names here. San Jose Museum of Art, like 7 times. The Hotel Valencia in Santana Row, like 8 times. Tech Museum. Recently, San Jose City Hall Rotunda was pretty much donated to me. The Computer History Museum, not one room, the whole museum. That's like 50,000 square feet. So like I said, you know, if you're going to try to do an event, you know, focus on what your own business is. You're better off partnering up, leveraging with other people. And even if it's your own event, barter and negotiate. I mean, as business owners, that's what we're supposed to do. You start asking how much, you're dead in the water, because then they're going to, if somebody asks you how much, you're already thinking, okay, I could charge them my regular fee, but I know I'm going to have to bring it down to a discount. But if you start saying, well, this is what, if you show up and say, this is what I've got to offer, and it gets their attention, and they say, wait a second, then I get them to pay me sometimes. So when people say, oh, I only make a profit, I mean, they don't make a profit, they lose money. I'm sorry, I only make money. I may not always make a lot of money, but I only make money. And exhibitors, everything else, that's just gravy. That's extra.